You don't always notice you're doing it. Someone texts you, and you wait. Someone asks if you're okay, and you say you're just tired. Someone wants to spend time with you, and suddenly you feel like being alone. From the outside, it can look like you're distant or cold or that you don't care about people, but that's rarely how it feels inside. Inside, it feels automatic, like some part of you quietly reaches for the exit before you even realize there's something to escape from. Then later, you wonder why your relationships never seem as close as everyone else's. You tell yourself you need to be more social, more open, better at communicating, but none of those explanations ever seem to fix it, because you were never trying to push people away. You were trying to protect something you didn't even know you were protecting. Most people explain this as fear of rejection. They'll tell you that you're afraid people won't accept the real you. Sometimes that's true, but for a lot of people, that's not actually the feeling underneath. The deeper fear isn't that someone will leave after seeing who you are. It's that they'll stay. You'll finally let them see how much you're struggling, and instead of treating you the same, something changes in their face. Their voice gets softer. Their smile becomes careful. They stop seeing you as someone who's okay and start seeing someone they need to worry about. That look is what you're avoiding. Not rejection, pity. Because pity feels different. Rejection says, "I don't want you." Pity quietly says, "Something is wrong with you." And if you've carried that feeling long enough, you start believing that letting people get close automatically turns you into someone who has to be taken care of. So without realizing it, you begin managing everyone's emotional experience before they ever have one. You tell yourself you'll handle it alone, that they already have enough going on, that there's no reason to make their day worse. You convince yourself that keeping everything inside is actually being considerate. It feels responsible. It even feels loving. But what you're really doing is protecting other people from seeing a version of you that you secretly believe would become their responsibility. That's why people can genuinely care about you and you still instinctively pull away. It's why you disappear when life gets hard instead of reaching out. Why "I'm fine" comes out even when you're exhausted, and why opening up leaves you feeling guilty instead of relieved. Somewhere along the way, you learned that your pain was something other people had to carry. So you carry it first. And if it gets too heavy, you carry it anyway. A lot of people describe this without ever realizing they're describing the same thing. They say they don't want to be a burden, that they'd rather suffer alone, that they can't stand the thought of anyone worrying about them or feeling obligated to help. Some even say, "I don't know why I keep pushing people away." The strange part is, they usually aren't making a decision. It's become a reflex. Someone gets close. Life becomes difficult. The walls quietly go back up. You still care about them. Your mind just believes it's preventing a moment that would hurt you both. It believes distance is kindness. But here's the part it never tells you. The people who genuinely love you aren't asking for a perfect version of you. They're asking for the real one. When you decide what they can and can't handle without ever giving them the choice, you aren't protecting the relationship. You're protecting yourself from imagining how they might see you. And imagination is powerful, sometimes powerful enough to convince you someone feels sorry for you before they've even had the chance to respond. That's why loneliness can become so confusing. You want people close. You miss connection. You wish someone understood you. But every time someone gets close enough to understand, you instinctively step backward, because being seen feels like becoming someone's burden. If any of this felt painfully familiar, that doesn't mean you're broken. It means you've probably spent so long carrying your struggles alone that isolation started feeling safer than compassion. But safety and healing aren't always the same thing. Sometimes healing begins the moment you stop deciding how other people are allowed to feel about you. Sometimes it begins with one honest sentence you've rehearsed 100 times but never actually said, "I haven't really been okay." And if someone sent this video to you, they probably couldn't find those words themselves. Sending it might have been easier, like their way of telling you they've been pushing you away while caring about you the whole time. They just couldn't bear the thought of becoming someone you felt responsible for. Sometimes the hardest confession isn't admitting you're hurting, it's admitting you've been hurting alone.